But you know what? The honest truth really is that the indoctrination system that they have going is so brilliant. It's so good.
Dude, I'm starting to think it's
so
so much even deeper than we originally
so
thought.
good.
It's so long.
I don't want to battle it. It's these people, you're battling people that are in a trance. I don't like doing it. I only like communicating with people that are already on board, already on my frequency, or on the fence. If you're on the fence, I'll talk to you. But if you're way on the other side, I won't even bother. It's just too painful for me. The indoctrination that we got going in this country, worldwide, really, is just so strong. Oh man, what they feed the kids. You know, I got a 6-year-old, and they just drown the kids in space. Everything is space. Space, alien space.
Dinosaurs.
Everything.
Dinosaurs are up their asses.
Yeah,
too.
that's part of the whole story.
Dinosaurs up their asses.
Yeah, definitely. It's all indoctrination of the complete story. The complete story is designed for the fake alien invasion. We've talked about that before. It's all about the fake alien invasion. It's all about that shit. It's always been about that shit. You know, since the dawn of time, ancient emperors, all the huge ones, the ones that ruled Rome,
right,
they all wanted a one world government. They all did. When you look at the big pictures, like how.
What is flat Earth in your opinion? What is it? Is it just like is it a simulation? Are we in a simulation?
People are cool with thinking that. People are totally cool with us living in a computer simulation. No one has ever ridiculed for saying, I think we live in a computer. No one has ever. Elon Musk said it. So nobody has ever been ridiculed for that.
Why are they more okay with that than they are with the notion that we might live on a flat plane?
Because as children, we're brought up with Star Trek and Star Wars. They did that shit on purpose. So the indoctrination is so strong. When someone brings up that we could possibly live on a motionless flat plane, I mean, that's what it says in the Bible. All ancient civilizations believed in a flat plane and a firmament and everything. You know, when you put it all together, the only way, if we really do, let's just say we really do, like it says in the Bible and like ancient civilizations thought, right, we live in a special place. Right. It's motionless. It's a flat plane, and there's a firmament. Meaning there's a dome. That's what it says in the Bible. If that's true, and there is a creator, how are you going to get people to believe in a fake alien invasion? There's no way you're going to, because if that's true, there's no fucking infinite space. There's no infinite space. So they had to crush not only God or our creator, whatever it is, but they had to crush that model. And when you start looking at the history of it all, you're like, holy shit, it all makes sense. In order to have fake alien invasion, we need infinite space. We need evolution. They need they're a million years, a billion years more advanced than us. So that's evolution. So the dinosaur thing, that's all evolution. Darwin, they were all Freemasons, Jesuits, all of those guys. They're all part of the same team. All the famous astronomers, the ones that are known throughout time, the real famous ones, they're all from the Vatican. The Vatican is pushing infinite space and aliens. They are, because the Vatican, as you know, they're not about Christ.
Yeah.
They're faking their Christ. They're faking it. It's obvious. The Vatican looks very satanic to me, based on the shit that I've seen. Oh my God! Like that monument, that sculpture, the resurrection that's behind, like in the Vatican main church. It's called the Resurrection
in the Reptilian Auditorium.
Yeah, put that up. Put the Vatican, the Resurrection sculpture.
Yeah,
that don't look like Jesus to me.
Put the Throne of Lucifer. I think it's called actually.
No, it's called the Resurrection.
Really?
It's called the Resurrection. It's a gigantic sculpture. There it is, right there. Look at that shit.
That, dude.
Come on, that is. If you're into that, you're into Satan. There's no way that has anything to do.
You're definitely into lizard
Satan.
people. Go down.
That's fucking
Go
Satan.
to the head.
Dude.
Go to the top
Look at
of the
that
head.
shit. That's the Vatican. That's the Vatican.
Look at that, dude. What, Aaron? You're a
How is
Christian
that
man.
Jesus? How
what
is
do you
that
think of that,
Jesus?
Christian man?
Look at that shit.
I have no
Look at that
recollection
shit.
of the
So
reptile.
my point is, the Vatican and all the famous astronomers that have made all these calculations of the space and all that shit, they were all from the Vatican. They're all Jesuit Freemasons, and they're giving us the story about what's up, what all those lights are in the sky. They're telling us the story that's not the story. That's not the story. You know, so I'm not a religious guy. I grew up a Catholic, but
Are you religious now?
I'm way more open to the Bible. And now when people start reading me passages from the Bible, now when I listen to it, it sounds like some genius ass shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just when you start certain like the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
You could Google the Book of Enoch, and the Vatican took that out. They made that officially. They took it out of
Enoch. There it is.
the Book of Enoch. When you read those passages, it sounds like it sounds like a God is writing that. It's filled with wisdom, and I don't know.
Does it scare you to maybe
I
to
don't know.
be religious because you were so not religious maybe for a long time?
I do believe that someone created all this. Something there is.
Is it a traditional God like you see in like
I don't know.
the Bible?
I think most of organized religion is controlled opposition, only because the people you just naturally believe in a creator and a God. So I think what Constantine did when he told the people, okay, we're gonna be Christian, okay, but meanwhile he's a pagan, sun worshiper.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a big
Yeah.
part of that Bible is that.
Yeah.
And they put stuff in there that make people fight.
Yeah.
Just like the Quran has stuff in there that like, why is that there? You can't drink, you can't dance, you can't. It's like stuff like that just makes you wonder why they would put that in there. And it just
to turn people off to God. They're strategically they turn, like the Roman Catholic Church. They turn Jesus into a superhero, and that turns people off. And it's a
So
great.
what's
It's
your
a great
take
way.
on Jesus?
I believe that there was a man who, I don't know if his name was Jesus, but I believe there was a Jesus, and I don't believe that he was supernatural. I just believe he was super enlightened. I could be wrong. I don't know, but it seems like he did exist, and man,
Does it scare you to
Yeah.
say this stuff? Because you're like,
I just don't know. All I know is that sculpture, the resurrection, that ain't Christian. That's not good. And whatever's coming out of the Vatican, that's not good.
right.
That's not good.
You know, we
so
did a show.
the Jesuit order comes from the Vatican. I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know.
There's a line in the New Testament, what will it profit a man if he gains the entire world and loses his soul? And I think it's often framed as a general statement, but I've often wondered whether it had like an actual specific referent. And the specific classical referent, the person who conquered the whole world was Alexander the Great. There is something numerological about the number 33, where there's I think it was the 33rd chapter of the 33rd book of Livy, where Livy talks about the 33-year-old conqueror enters this triumphant city. It's Alexander entering Babylon just before he dies. You have sort of these cheering crowds. So there is sort of this very deep parallel between sort of Alexander versus Christ parallel. And I do think Christianity somehow says that the life of Alexander ended in failure, and that's like an incredible indictment that it makes. It's like, well, he might have conquered the world, but then he still died.
Yeah.
And to some extent, that is the world we all live in.
Yeah, but that's fascinating, and I confess I'd completely forgotten that stuff about Livy, and I want to go back home and look it up. It's really interesting. But the Alexander story still dominated over the next 300 years until the time of Jesus, so that all the little Hellenistic princelings who came in his wake were still telling their own story as though they might have a chance of being at least a small version of Alexander. And what Paul does in Philippians is to take the way they told that story of arriving at imperial power and retell that with Jesus as the hero, but instead of conquering the world, dying on a cross as being the central thing. And it's as though Paul is saying specifically, yeah, okay, we now have a Roman emperor rather than a Greek one, Alexander, but it's the same truth, that Jesus is Lord and Caesar isn't. And that's a whole strand in the New Testament which does precisely pick up the Alexander thing, and which I think many Christians have not come to terms with.